Good afternoon, Army people. It is your buddy Choppadong. This is an NHL version of DFS Diary. I am hoping to bring to you the three-game NHL slate. If you look through my timeline as a subscriber, which I do appreciate liking and subscribing the videos below, of course, then you scroll down a little bit and you see there's an NHL recap from this weekend with the Cash versus GPP contest. That leads to a Drafkings player pool for NBA. Then there's a NASCAR preview video where I interview Nilly J, one of our DFS NASCAR experts and coaches, and debut one of his new VIP only tools that we'll have access to, which greatly simplifies the NASCAR process. And then, of course, this video. So feel free to scroll back through the timeline. If you got all three notifications, sorry for blowing your phone up today. Early week is very, very busy. Tomorrow or the next day, we're going to come at you with the Genesis Open and PGA, hopefully. I didn't want to play Pebble Beach because of the Pro-Am, and then all the people started dropping like wildfire. And it felt very, very random to me. I didn't want to play it. I don't know how I'll be with the weather this year, so we're looking for Mark and DFS Weather. If you don't follow him, the NFL DFS Weather, MLB DFS Weather out on Twitter. If it's not MLB DFS Weather, it's DFS MLB Weather, and vice versa for NFL. Great account to follow for a knowledgeable fantasy-related weather guy, specializing obviously in baseball. And I'm trying to teach him how it relates to golf, being that I know the game, and we're trying to teach him how it relates to NASCAR, so that we can provide some a little bit of edge to our VIPs inside the DFS Army. So if you're interested in coming on board, you go down to the comments section, click the link, use the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger that 20% off discount, and get in there and start becoming a better player today. Without further ado, let's dive into the research station and see what we can't find on this three-game slate. This is a contrarian slate. Is my game plan going in blind? I'm going to try and find the chalk. I'm going to try and go against the chalk because on three-game slates, I don't play a lot of cash, and I have better shots at winning the GPPs when everybody's going to be focused. Ownership's going to be higher in certain areas. Therefore, I have more leverage than usual. If I was on a 12-game slate, I don't have a lot of leverage being contrarian there. Just have to play kind of for the best play. But on a smaller slate, 6-game, 5-game, 4-game, 3-game slate, it behooves me to play very contrarian because while everybody flocks to the easy Ovechkins, I can go against them in something they say, that'll never happen today. Boom. In hockey, it happens all the freaking time. So that's the game plan. And I see the minus 180 already on Washington. And I see that LA's been playing better lately, and Washington's still giving up goals. While this may be a popular approach, it will not be the chalk approach, most likely being that LA's on the road. Washington will probably be the chalk tonight. So I can fade some of Washington, stack up some of LA. So when I get to the skaters tab, I'll be looking for LA skaters to be very productive. I will focus on those guys, go against the minus 180 and the 5.5 over under, and hope that it pans out. Is it going to pan out most times? Nope. That's why they call it being contrarian. But we're ready to take that risk. Pittsburgh and Philly, this game could obviously be a shootout. Both teams have offenses. Both teams have been allowing goals. I don't know why this L10 is a 2.1 and it's red. It should be green because that's a very, very good number. Philly's been giving up goals throughout the year, but they're at least a little bit better lately. Pittsburgh's been giving up goals themselves, not really scoring a ton. Pittsburgh might be a pretty popular fade, or not a popular fade. They'll be a popular team to put into play, especially if they get Malkin back tonight. They should be a good GPP type of fade in hopes that the population runs over here and we can get out of it. Now, should we be over here? Not necessarily. I don't think that that's going to be chalky, but it's going to be kind of middling owned, middling to highish owned with your Couturiers, Konechny's, Giroux's, some of the hotter skaters over there in Philly land. Carter Hart's going to be very obviously very chalky. Therefore, it does make some sense to stack up Pittsburgh. If you're going to stack up Pittsburgh, you're going to have to go overboard and you're going to have to go overweight on them. Maybe take in account maybe that second line or that third line, being that they're on the road, might have the better matchup against the leaky Philadelphia Flyers defense in some spots. Maybe you got a pathway to riches there. San Jose, obviously huge numbers. Giving up goals too, though. That puts Vancouver in a little bit better spot. So again, these are obvious situations. Both sides of these games are in play. So there's no real leverage there. The leverage on this slate is going to be if LA scores 5 or 6 goals tonight and you've got 3 or 4 skaters. There's your contrarian stack right there. The rest of this is all pretty balanced, and it doesn't look like there's really super chalk concentrated in one spot or the other. Your LA Pittsburgh stack might be your winner if Carter Hart has a blow up game. San Jose, it wouldn't surprise anybody if they scored a ton of goals. Wouldn't surprise anybody if Vancouver beats San Jose, being that San Jose is allowing goals and Vancouver's at home. So just kind of hard to really pigeon these down to two or three offenses that we like. I will probably focus on LA Kings is a major stack, and then my minor stacks will take pieces of these other guys, if not just kind of onesies and twosies from around the league. If we look for a goalie, don't really see any goalies other than Hart that I might like. These are crapshoots in higher games. People are going to be on Copley. I would take Jonathan Quick, and that would limit me to a three stack, which we'll go find who we might like. Now, in my cash games, I'm going to go the other way, and I'll probably take more standard stuff. But if I want to look for value plays, we'll do that first, and then we'll wrap up with where we would land on the contrarian LA Kings stack. So sort by descending, find the hot skaters. You can take this one of two ways. I chase hot and cold. I hope they hold on to their hot streak for just one more game. The other way to take it would be play the regression game. Who is underperforming and is due to come back to life? And you can bank on those in GPPs, and hopefully you catch that night. I need to see it coming a little bit first to sustain itself. That's just the way I play. But there's two very, very different ways to use this sheet. Some people do dig into it. Who's hot? He's going to cool off. Who's not hot? He's going to heat up. And that would land you on a Sidney Crosby type who's only averaging 15.8 points per game. Is typically a 20-point a game player on Fanduel scoring. 8 to 9 points on Drafkings is not unheard of for him, so he's due to come back. It's just a matter of when. When is he going to get hot again? Could it start tonight? That's what a GPP move would look like, whereas I'm probably going to wait for it to come and catch some momentum as it starts, because I'm going to be watching it by doing my 10-game, 5-game thing, where if my FanDuel average is above or below my 5-game, my 10-game FanDuel average and my 5-game FanDuel average. And I should actually reverse that on you and say I watched the 5-game number. If it's above the 10-game average, it's a buy signal. If it's below it, it's a sell signal. That simple. And if the numbers are overall low, like Sydney's are, it's just a sell all the way around. Leva 30 whatever 100, 12.2 versus a 15.9, he's a buy signal. And at his price, it's an easy buy because he's just not going to do too much to you if he gets a 0. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for on this slate. I'm looking for out of place, out of priced guys. Let's start with the defenseman. Since I've got it sorted by the 5-game, so I'm looking there. 4,300 Sanheim. Thank you. Easy value. 3,700 Stecker. Thank you. Pretty easy value. 4,500, 3,900 Tanev. Easy value. 3,700 Kempney. Easy value. These guys are not on power play units, which means they'll be lower owned, which is also a good sign. 4,000. There's a lot of value on this slate actually. So this is not necessarily the way to go tonight. The contrarian move would be to pay up for Brent Burns or Chris Letang, especially Chris Letang, because not everybody's going to be willing to do that, being that there's a lot of value on this slate with all these low $4,000 and $3,000 players. So there's your contrarian move. Pay up at defense tonight. Pretty easy to spot. Hit the centers. Looking for out-of-priced centers at this point. Thomas Hertl, of course. 7,000 Couturier. 7,300 maybe Giroux. 4,200 Kempe. Thank you. Kopitar. These guys Couture are priced about right. Pedersen are priced about right. Crosby, Malkin overpriced for where they should be. If these guys were up here, it'd be a different story, but they're down in here. There's a whole bunch of better value on the slate than these two. These two would be GPP only type picks where you're just kind of hoping to catch a big game on them. Nolan Patrick, not great value, but it's okay. Lars Eller's decent value if you're headed for the kind of the third line move in, what was that, Burakovsky, is he on there with them? Maybe an Orlov on defense. You're trying to make that one of the goofy stacks in a 3-game tournament, and that allows you to take the chalky offense. However, take some of the value so that you can then maybe go pay up for Pittsburgh or pay up for San Jose or something like that and work it that way. Get two pieces of the bigger offenses that are likely to go off tonight and still be a little bit unique. That would be one way to do it. Thornton, 4,700 down here. We better see the real cheap guys down in here because $5,500 and $6,100 guys are overpriced at this point. Horvat, sorry, overpriced at this spot. Now, could he have a good game? Sure, but he's overpriced on today's slate compared to what all we've got here sitting in the middle that's outperforming him over the last 5 games. I just think it's a very, very simple way to target what you want to target in finding the value and finding the players that you should be watching. So when we look at the wings, Evander Kane, 7,700. There are $8,000 guys on this slate. He's up there at the top. He should be. He's priced about right. 7,500 for Voracek, priced about right. 7,300 for Pavelski, priced about right. 5,200 for Konechny, value. Thank you. 4,000 for LeBlanc, value. Thank you. It's just easy to spot on nights like tonight. Know where these guys are. Sell out on one or two of them. Hope they have a good night for you, and then pay up for everybody else. 6,000 priced about right, 7,000 priced about right, 8,700 Ovechkin, sorry, overpriced for this slate. Although you can't argue the way he's been performing, and you can't argue his slate breaking ability. So let's not kind of overvalue this method of finding players. You know, you're still going to need common sense to prevail. Ovechkin's always in play. 6,800, valued about right, maybe a little overpriced. Lindblom, 4,100, 3,600 for Levo, 4,600 for Rutt. This is all about right. And then these guys are getting overpriced again. 7,200 for Gensel. Sorry. You need to be higher up the list, my friend. And then we get down into the real cheapies. 6,400 for Oshie, way down the list. Very overpriced, considering what the slate has to offer and considering he's not running as hot as he was a week ago. So again, that's how you're going to find those guys. That's typically the game plan that you're going to use on such an easy slate. And it just doesn't require a ton of research. You go in there, you find your value, you know where you need to go when you really need to save some money. You spot a goalie that you want to kind of sell out to. You target a few big stacks, whether you want to be chalky or whether you want to be contrarian. And you start constructing lineups around those general game plans and theories. And if you hit it right and allocate your contests correctly, you have a big night. And if you don't, well, it's hockey. You move on to the next night. There's really not a lot more that needs to be discussed. If you want more discussion, obviously, you'd come inside dfsarmy.com, use that coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger that discount and get in here and let's talk more specifics about hockey. It's a little bit better on bigger slates than it would be tonight. But you get, for that price, you get every single sport that we offer. All of them, from NBA, NHL, MMA, NASCAR, PGA, whatever. You get all of it. You get all the tools. You get all the coaching, discussion, everything for these pricing tiers. And again, Chop knocks 20% off of these prices. So that's really what you're after. It's really what you're looking for. Hopefully you use that coupon code. You come inside and like and subscribe the video, like and subscribe the channel. We're well under 15 minutes. It's a relatively short one for a hockey video for sure. I hope to see you guys inside and ringing that notification bell on the outside. Thanks so much for following along. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.